He is none other than Johnny Most, a legend who has described the play of legends for all his faithful followers who wear the green. Make no mistake, Johnny Most is as much a part of the Celtics as Red Auerbach, Bob Cousy, Bill Russell, and Tom Heinsohn.
I mean, he's not up there as an impartial observer. He's there as a member of our organization, and when they call a foul against us, he's hurt. And that's the way he reacted. He always amazed me because he was a very good ad-libber. He used to do the whole broadcast all by himself. He'd walk in there 10 minutes before airtime, and he'd just wing it. Something happened to the lights or the clock. He just ad-libbed it, and he did it as good or not better than anybody ever saw. And there have been so many incidents with Johnny because he feels that he's a member of the team, which he is. And Johnny is so loyal that it just exudes from him. So if anybody says something or gives him a hard time, he's ready to battle. And he wasn't much of a fighter. So we used to caution him, hey, Johnny, calm down, will you? You never won any fights. But that's the way he was. And like I said, he's very loyal, and his whole life has been dedicated to the Celtics. Well, he's just part of the family. We don't do anything without Johnny, and we like to feel that whatever station has done the broadcast, Johnny is part of the deal. Otherwise, we were never interested in making any move.
Johnny Most has hosted and been toasted. But he is most famous as the object of what some call the greatest form of flattery.
All right, Archibald bringing the ball up on the right, looking around, goes in the corner to Ford. Ford fiddles, diddles, goes back to Tiny. Tiny drives down the lane, and he got mauled by Dawkins. Oh, my God, they're going to have to scrape him up off the floor.
All right, it's Andy's going to put the ball in bounds over to Larry. Larry on the pivot, he goes quickly over to Danny. Danny looks at Kevin. He goes over to McHale. McHale goes over to Robert. Robert with the rainbow, and he got fouled. We're going to have a foul on, was it on Magic? No, it's on Rambis, and there goes Rambis. He's saying, why, Jake, why? There's no blood, there should be no foul. Look, he's still standing, there's no need for it. Do you know who I am? My name is Kurt Rambis, and I'm very, very ugly.
And so a man who has given his all to the players and fans he truly loves steps away from the microphone and into Celtics history.
The legendary Johnny Most. There will never be another like him. We'll come back with more on Johnny Most as our broadcast tonight, the Celtics and the Sonics, continue. Here's from the Boston Garden. Tonight, at least so far, but many eyes in this house will not be at halftime when Tommy Heinsohn will MC the tribute to Johnny Most. Last week, many of his fans had an honor and an opportunity to pay tribute to this great man. It was the Johnny Most roast.
Right now, there's a double stack, and Larry walks through the lane coming to the right. And he gets the pass. Goes into the lane. Jump pass back out to DJ. DJ throws. Oh, it's gone! It's gone! And no time left! It's all over! It is all over! And it's good by DJ from the left side! It's all over! Boston wins the all-important fourth game! Ainge comes down, takes another three. It's gone! Another one! Danny Ainge has just cut the lead to 4.
Last Thursday night, over 500 people gathered to pay tribute to the voice of the Boston Celtics. For over 36 years, Johnny Most has been known as the broadcaster of the Celtics. But to the fans of the Men in Green, he was much more.
Johnny Most is, to me, bigger than all the players in this town, including Larry Bird and Roger Clemens. He'll outlast them all. He won't try to break his contract. He won't try to ask for too much money. I think the guy is fantastic.
Many of Johnny's closest friends came to toast and roast him in tribute to his longevity and loyalty.
Johnny sort of used the Celtics like Arthur Fiedler was the Pops. You know, it's not just someone who worked for them, but someone who actually was them, whether it was Russell or Cousy or Havlicek or Cowens or Bird. All the generations came and went, and Johnny was still there.
In this particular game, we're playing against the St. Louis Hawks, the championship game, and one of our guest speakers here, Jim Lesketoff, was injured and wasn't able to play in this particular game, and Lou Chiropoulos, who had been a backup player, was now assigned to defend against the great Hall of Fame player Bob Pettit. And it was a key game, and we were really, you know, we wanted to win this championship, and Lou Chiropoulos is out there. And here's how Johnny Most broadcast went. I can't believe it. We're in the third quarter here, the beginning stages of the third quarter, and Lou Chiropoulos is doing a fantastic defensive job on Bob Pettit. I mean, he's in his shirt, he's in his sneakers, he's in his underwear. There isn't any place that Pettit goes that Chiropoulos isn't right there with him. It's unbelievable. Here we are, 2 minutes into the third quarter, and Pettit's only got 32 points.
I just can't think of the Celtics and not think about Johnny Most. I mean, when you think of the Celtics, you may see Red Auerbach and Bill Russell and Bob Cousy and Lesketoff and Heinsohn, Bird, Robert Parrish, but you hear Johnny Most. And I think his voice is the most distinguishable element in the Celtics. It's as easily as important as the Leprechaun.
He was great, though, because he will defend you. When you're having the worst game of your life, which we've all had, and you're throwing the ball right to the other guy, he's going, oh, great defensive play. Christ, I'm telling you. This guy's stepping into passing lanes. You know, you're dribbling off your foot. You're missing layups. You're missing a layup, and Johnny goes, oh, Christ, he was triple team. Hell of an effort, you know. And you got to love it, because I tell you, no matter how bad you played, you people who didn't have televisions never knew how bad we played.
And growing up in Lynn, I did not have the opportunity with a lot of money to attend a lot of Celtics basketball games. My eyes and ears for Celtics basketball was Johnny Most. I'm probably here today because of Johnny Most. Howie Carr, don't get excited. This is not a hack job. But I'm here because I grew up as a kid with a transistor radio underneath my pillow at night, despite the fact that my parents wanted me to go to bed at night. Even in the West Coast games, I would have this little transistor radio underneath the pillow, and I would listen to this guy tell me about this great basketball team that passed, that ran, that wore the green and white. And I fell in love with that basketball team. And I fell in love with it to the voice of Johnny Most. And all I can say is, we love you, John. I thoroughly enjoyed the 9 years that we worked together. People have asked me many times in the last month, well, how do you replace Johnny Most? You don't.
The years I played, I didn't listen to him that much because, you know, naturally we were playing. But after my retirement from the Celtics, I listened to him, and I was amazed at what he contributed to the game and what he actually built into the area of Boston or New England in regards to the whole concept of the game of basketball.
We'd be on the planes, in the back of the plane, and he'd be sitting there, and he'd light up a cigarette, take one drag, and then he'd fall asleep. He'd have that cigarette holding right here, you know, and we'd be back there saying, it's going to burn him this time, watch it, it's going to burn him, you know. And, you know, it's getting down there, and the ash is about that long, and it's getting ready to fall off, and this is it, it's going to burn his hand, you know. And we're all back there looking at him, and he's just a wild animal, and right before he'd burn it, he'd wake up, take that last drag, and put it out. And he never burnt himself, ever.
And if all you ever got to know was Johnny Most, the broadcaster, you missed an awful lot. Johnny Most, the man behind the microphone, behind the image, a delightful guy, and I love him very much.
Then he took his cigarettes out of his pocket and put one of those cigarette loads in the cigarette. And so he, you know, Johnny, we're watching him, and he right away, as soon as he got off the airplane, boy, he'd light up a cigarette. Geez, it didn't bang. Must not have been it. And so we're all following Johnny around the airport. And we get outside, and sure enough, we all run on the bus real quick. And Johnny always had that last cigarette before he came on the bus because as players, we said, Johnny, don't smoke on the bus until we saw that it's done him so well. Now we all smoke on the bus. But anyways, he was standing outside by the luggage, and sure enough, he gets a cigarette out, and we're all jammed up against the windows on the bus. Right? We're all looking out there like we're looking at a zoo, you know. And pretty soon, Johnny lights it up and takes that big drag, and he puts it down by his side, and bang! He hasn't even moved. He sits there, and we're going, he didn't hear it. Nah, he didn't hear it. He lifted that cigarette up, and that cigarette was shredded to beat hell, and he looked at it and went, that thing out. Boy, went right back for another one. It didn't even faze him.
This is not farewell. This is not goodbye. This is more like Auf Wiedersehen. And in closing, I would like to quote a poem of my own. With the passage of time, the pretty flower wilts, and the green grass is yellowed. But the beauty within me matures and grows with the passage of time. Thank you.
For those here at the Boston Garden tonight, they'll be receiving this shirt, emblematic of the special evening here honoring Johnny Most, provided by Sports Channel this evening. So they'll have a souvenir to take home with them. Bob Lobel in for Mike Gorman this evening. Tommy Heinsohn will be back, along with myself, to interview Casey Jones, who returns to the Boston Garden for the first time as a head coach of the opposition, the Seattle Supersonics.
I'm learning the names of the Yugoslavian players, and so he went right into the to the radio cast, and he started calling out names. All right, now the left-handed guy throws the ball over to the curly-head guy. The curly-head guy moves over to this guy, and so I just fell out, and it was live radio, and he's coming up with these different names, but he responded as a professional would respond, and just called the game.
But I heard he came to you for advice on a pronunciation of those names.
Well, yeah, I had a little difficulty with it.
So would have I. You should have heard us dealing with Vrankovic here for a while.
Stoico.
Stoico.
I'll stick with Stoico, and here's a 7'2" guy who can kill people with his shot blocking.
What about your new head coach again, taking over?
A man truly loved by the fans. Tonight he returns as head coach of the Seattle Supersonics with hopes of beating his former team. Stay tuned as the Boston Celtics face Seattle next on Sports Channel. Time at the Boston Garden. Bob Lobel in for Mike Gorman, who is on assignment. Tommy Heinsohn has left our broadcast location and is moving down to a place at midcourt where he will be the master of ceremonies for the halftime show that will be honoring the legendary Johnny Most. 37 years as a Boston broadcaster, 37 years as a Celtic broadcaster. The number of radio stations he's been on as the Celtics' rights have shifted from year to year is rather remarkable in itself. But Johnny will have a very emotional tribute paid to him tonight as they will unveil a permanent microphone just under his current location here at the Boston Garden. Many of the fans here not only to see the Celtics tonight, and you can see the inscription says, "From your family," and indeed, if there was a family that the Celtics can claim, Johnny Most would be front and center, if not at the head table, certainly at the table. What the fans are listening to now is an audio tape that has been put together for Johnny Most, and here he comes being led through the entrance where the basketball team comes. Johnny Most with a standing ovation. This will be a very tough, emotional night for that man.
and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we're here tonight to show love to a guy who has shown love to Boston and his many friends of the Boston Celtics. This is a love-in we're going to have here tonight. Johnny Most epitomizes, in more ways than one, the true Celtic tradition. He's been our horse since the 50s. He's transcended several generations of player, and every single player that's ever played here holds him a dear friend. He has brought to you the mystique of the Boston Celtics over the years. He has brought you the fun of following the Celtics as only he could present it. There's no question that this is truly going to be a love-in for everybody that's going to step up here that you can see. But Johnny himself knows that this is special for him, and I hope it's special for all you folks. I know it is. I'd like to introduce Johnny's wife, Roberta. And I'll start with the ladies, his two daughters, Margie and Andrea. And his two sons, Jamie and Robbie. And his stepdaughter, Robin Harris. We have a number of gifts and presentations to make to Johnny tonight. First of all, from WEEI, the Celtics radio station, an 18-karat white and yellow gold lapel pin in the shape of a microphone with 37 diamonds. One for each year of Johnny's Celtics broadcasting career. Presentation made by Mike Wheeler, Executive Vice President and General Manager of WEEI Radio. In addition, we're pleased to announce tonight that the Boston Celtics Communications Company, WEEI Radio, and FXT TV have established a scholarship fund at Emerson College, Department of Communications, which will be awarded annually to a deserving student in the name of Johnny Most. I wonder if they're going to make all those students drink Drano. With us tonight is another one of Johnny's friends from the old days, one of my teammates, Sat Sanders. Who had his own number retired here in the rafters. Satch now works for the National Basketball Association, and he comes here tonight representing the league with a special gift for Johnny. He's now presenting Johnny with an antique microphone which has been mounted with the following inscription: presented to Johnny Most with grateful appreciation for a lifetime of service to the Boston Celtics and the NBA. From high above courtside, December 3rd, 1990. As another guy that's been around here just a little bit longer than Johnny Most, guy who calls Johnny friend also, man who started off all of this stuff, Red Auerbach.
Down to normal. What are you looking at? How many people here saw the Celtics win 16 world championships? How many people here attended games 37 years ago? When we hired him 37 years ago, nobody would ever figured that that gravel tone would last. I have here a gift from Don Gaston, Alan Cohn, Dave Gavitt, Jan Volk, and myself, that this ring, this championship ring, is the only one of its kind in the world. It has no date. It symbolizes and says on the ring, 16 world championships. Johnny, I know Johnny's not going to be around, nor myself, for 16 more. But I hope that you'll be around for many more. Congratulations on this great day, Johnny Most.
And there's a guy who just ran out of the locker room representing the current Celtic basketball team, Larry Bird.
On behalf of the team, Johnny, we got you a piece of wood here. But it's a very special piece of wood. It reads, "From high above courtside, the world learned of the wondrous events on the parquet below from your uniquely green perspective." Thanks, Johnny. Thanks for the memories.
Don't sit down, Johnny. Johnny, don't tune me out either. But don't sit down. Come on up here and say a few words. Come on. Johnny Most!
Ladies and gentlemen, I came to the Celtics in 1953, and I thought I might stay a couple of years. Instead, I stayed 37. There were many, many great ball players that came down the path. It's been a long and beautiful path. But I would like to recall the first team that I joined in 1953. They didn't win a championship. They didn't really come close. But they were a great bunch of guys, and those of them who still live, I number as my lifelong friends. I have many friends on the Celtics. Guys like Gene Conley, Jim Luskatoff, Bob Branham, Frank Ramsey, Tommy Heinsohn, John Havlicek, and many, many others. And lest I forget, the captain of that first team that I joined, number 14, Bob Cousy. His backcourt partner later on became the general manager after being coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, Bill Sharman. There was a guard from Kansas State by the name of Ernie Barrett. Another guard from Ohio State who has passed away, Bob Dunham. There was a forward from Tennessee who has passed away by the name of Bob Harris. And a forward from Duquesne who passed away by the name of Chuck Cooper. Another forward who has become a lifelong brother. I mean, we are really brothers, no matter what our colors. This man's name is Don Barksdale, and I'll love him forever. The centers on this team, one of them's number is up in the rafters. Number 22, Ed McCauley. And the other center on this team was a guy who went to Tufts University while he was playing with the Celtics and became a dentist in 1958, Jack Nichols. I can never forget these guys because they were part of the reason I elected to stay. The two biggest reasons I stayed, or the three, were a man whose heart was as big as a whale, Walter Brown. And the other man you just heard a little while ago, Red Auerbach. I owe so much to these guys, and I owe so much to the city of Boston. These guys taught me Auerbach and Brown taught me the meaning of two of the most important words in the English language: friendship and loyalty. And the third ingredient that made me stay was the city of Boston themselves. You people, you out there, you made me stay. And from you, I learned the meaning of the word love. And I thank you very, very much for that. In parting, I would like to say that I'll never forget you, and I hope you will never forget me. This is not goodbye. This is Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all know we'll never forget you. There'll never be another one like you. And to make sure that nobody ever forgets what Johnny Most meant to the Celtics, I want to direct your attention to the facade up there, below the press box, high above courtside, where Johnny Most regaled us for so many years with so many great games. We will present to you a lasting monument to the voice of the Boston Celtics, the only one of his kind, one of the great broadcasters of all time, Johnny Most. Johnny, you didn't have a number, but you had a microphone. Please listen with us to a few more of Johnny Most's great calls and great moments of Celtics history.
Out of bounds as Danny got a hand in there and just would not let the handoff be smooth. All right, now Powers picks off the cross-court pass. It goes down.
As we view Tommy Heinsohn and Johnny Most at midcourt, Johnny Most, as he has done so many times here at the Boston Garden, has risen to the occasion tonight on his night. He said it's been a long and beautiful path, and for many, many fans around New England, he led them down a path that was in a most unique and colorful style. We'll come back with the WBZ Channel 4 halftime update as Johnny Most leaves the Boston Garden on this, his night. Stay with us.